Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this channel. Let's just turn that down a bit. Now you can probably hear me. Welcome to more coverage of the next round of the Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. We're at Monza tonight for the TCRs, and alongside me as ever is my good pal, my good colleague in the virtual commentary box, Howard Mitchell. Howard, how are we doing this evening?
Doing very well, thank you, Andrew. Hello to yourself, hello to everybody. Thank you for joining us once again for another enthralling round of our Club 100 iRacing Championship. And we are indeed at a classic here in the form of Monza. And it's been a very long time since we last saw the TCRs. Last saw them back at Knock Hill, which I want to say was round 3. So it's been quite a while since we've seen them. Possibly one of the largest breaks we've seen in the season for a particular car, although we did have quite a big break with our GT3s as well. But yeah, everyone knows and loves Monza, right? It's high speed, it's good for some good slipstream action down the straights. It's old school, this. With the big braking zones, though, it's going to be interesting to see. And particularly with, I think touring cars are going to be an interesting combination with it as well. So looking forward to this one for some out-and-out racing.
Sprint format tonight, the classic 3 races. First race set by time qualifying, which will start in a few moments' time. Second race decided by a large reverse grid, top 20 tonight, and the top 10 will be reversed from that result to set the grid for race number 3. Howard, in about 15 seconds' time, we're going to see the change of session into the qualifying session.
We are.
Afterwards, I will ask for the scores on the doors, as we're really heading into the bitter end of the season now. And of course, it's not going to do it tonight. Let's go with the scores. Let's go with the scores. iRacing's not going to do its normal trick on me. Watch it do in about 30 seconds' time.
Let's try and get some scores whilst we. So
I'll let you know if it goes wrong.
Overall scores at the moment still on this scoreboard. There are some drop scores to come into account. We will try and account for that as we come, as Andrew says, towards the season finale. But it is Sam Sanders who leads on the points overall at the moment. Michael Preston and James Montgomery rounding out your top 3. With Tom Dix and Josh Ladd tied there for 4th place as it currently stands. It's Matt Hale, excuse me, no it's not Tom Dix and Josh Ladd tied for 4th place. It's Josh Ladd tied with our Class 2 leader, Matt Hale. I can read across a row, ladies and gentlemen. Matt Hale is our Class 2 points leader, with Christopher Powell not that far behind, still really close in the Class 2 ranks. Between Hale and Powell, and James Fremont is not too far back either. So nice, nice and tight stuff there between Class 2. Charlie Summers and Cameron Watson round out the top 10. We can see some really good fights throughout, really. Craig Brown, Murray Adams, they're really close, and we'll be looking to keep things going strongly with their championship. Yeah, as we file on down the order, we see plenty. We see the rest of the people competing, but I'll just flick through that one because Andrew, we've got some comms action.
I was going to say, I was going to interject that the man in 19th place at the moment, Alan Curtis, happy birthday. He's 25 years of age.
Good point.
That's official.
Good point. And we haven't got qualifying action yet, have we?
No, it's 19:50 on the 24-hour clock it starts, so I'm on the ball. I know what's going on. We've still got 3 minutes before the qualifying starts. With the usual 2 flying laps for each of the drivers. They've got to be clean, no off tracks, no spins. Fastest time gets you pole position for the first race. But this circuit as well, we've not been. It feels weird in a way. We've had it a fair bit in the Gran Turismo series, in the Gran Turismo Sport Days. But I think I'm right in saying we have never been to Monza for the iRacing Championship for Club 100 and BUKC drivers. And as you say, it's a proper old school one. Turn 1 is going to be spicy. It's not a it may be. No, it is going to be spicy. Almost, I'm going to put a very weird analogy here. Turn 1, I think, is almost going to be a bit like a Red Lodge sprint. If you can get through it clean, you'll be in a good position.
Yeah, it's not a bad analogy, actually. In fact, as we were just looking at Lesmo, I'm thinking of the right hand at Red Lodge where you just skirt the wall as well. There's more parallels than perhaps you'd first think. But yes, it is going to be an interesting one, that, Andrew, to see how they will deal with that. Let's be frank, it's a big braking zone, and
it's from the standard start as well.
Yeah, how can I put this? When this circuit comes up in the Ferrari fixed GT3 series, it's one that you think twice about clicking on the iRacing service. Or maybe that's just my iRating talking there. But what's the more diplomatic way to say it? It can be. Well, I don't even need to appeal to. I don't even need to cite iRacing. We know how frantic things can be into that first chicane. The most recent example I can think of F1 would be, was it Liuzzi who managed to outbrake himself?
Been mentioned tonight as
okay.
he took the what I like to call the 1996 line into the Rettifilio.
Nice.
Like 2011.
That I think works for the HRT livery that I can imagine him sporting. Yes. So yes, if somebody outbreaks themselves, it becomes a game of ping pong, and there's not a huge amount that people can do about that up front. Really, it is a bit of a roulette wheel in that sense. But as you say, if they can survive, they can then start to focus. And once you get into a race here, Andrew, I thoroughly enjoy it. It is, it's not. It's the high speed, it's the keeping on top of the car, it's how bold are you on the brakes. It's not the most technical circuit, but that allows you to focus on how are you going to maximise your drive out the next corner, how are you going to have a run down the next straight. This qualifying that has just kicked off,
it has just kicked off.
For me, Andrew, this is an interesting one because they get the 2 laps. It's easy to overthink it, right? It's easy to go, I'll just go late on the brakes as possible, but if you go deep into one of those chicanes, you may have just mucked up the lap. It's not the hardest track to receive an off-track penalty, so, these are the key, it's key that people just keep a clear head to set a good lap time here. I would be looking to set a sort of solid sighter lap and then
really go for it on the second.
Go all in. Yeah, really go for it on the second. Would be my personal approach. That would be what I'd tell myself, and then I would inevitably go out onto the track and immediately get a 1x at the first chicane. Absolutely.
Patrick Pishgay on your screens at the moment. I know we keep talking about Patrick as a debutant in this series, but my goodness, what a season so far he has had. Some very strong results, even from way back in the first round at Daytona, all the way back in late January. You can see him trying to get the heat in the tyres, particularly on those front wheels. The always tricky thing about these cars in particular, Howard, the TCRs, whether it's the Honda, the Audi, or here with the Hyundai, front wheel drive. It's a very different skill set to what we perhaps saw a few weeks ago in the GT3s round Bathurst in terms of a driver's style behind the wheel.
Yes, absolutely. It's a big difference, as that might be getting a bit too much heat in the tyres there. But it is a different driving style. The way that you're going to be trail braking through the corners to induce the grip, and how the car is on acceleration. You know, obviously, what do I mean by that? Well, trail braking is all about distributing the weight around the car, but it's a slightly different kettle of fish when you've got the front wheel drive there with how that's distributed. And yeah, acceleration out the corner is different as well. You know, generally speaking, your rear wheel drive is quicker off the line, or quicker on the acceleration, which, you know, these big braking zones means that you are having a lot of acceleration events as well. So yeah, it's quite a different style of driving for certain.
And particularly this circuit that's got so many corners where, you know, you want to get on the power as early as possible, but you've also got to tend with that understeer. I'm particularly thinking the last corner, which we can't call, well, we can because we're old. We can't call a Parabolica anymore because, of course, it's now Curva Alboreto.
It is
named after Michele Alboreto earlier this year.
Are we holding ourselves to that standard? Because nobody
on
the
the
Grand Prix weekend
yes. No,
seemed to bother.
I think we're going to hold ourselves to a higher standard
fair
in Sky
enough.
Sports. Absolutely. Here's Chris Hansen running in the Simply Catnip / G3 Pro car tonight. Big thanks to G3 Pro and Simply Catnip, two of our sponsors for this, the 2022 Club 100 and BUKC iRACIng Championship.
Yeah,
both of them lending their hands to provide for some of the prizes involved in this series. Top drivers in both C1 and C2 will get a run out in the 2023 Club 100 Endurance Championship. Sorry, Howard, I cut across you there.
No, that's fine. That's definitely why he's on screen. It's not because he's sporting our logo on the bonnet or because I'm a bit of a Civic fanboy. But that, no, we're very grateful to, we are grateful to sponsors who, you know, make the awesome prizes possible as well.
So lap times should be coming in
got lap times
shortly.
coming in. Yeah, absolutely. So we will get that on screen for you in a moment. There we go. First time's coming in. Chris Hansen to the top, was the first across the line and holds the pole for now.
And just to remind, or maybe for the first time, explain, if you're new to this championship, you may be wondering, oh, it's like, why am I not seeing trains of touring cars all looking for a slipstream like they do in the Formula 1 in a Q3 session? Well, that's not going to happen in this session because this is what's known as lone qualifying. Each driver, I always like to picture it, Howard, as parallel universes, like out of that multiverse. It's the iRacing multiverse in qualifying form, where everybody's out on their own bubble version of Monza. What does that mean? Well, it means no traffic, no complaining about people getting in the way, no trying to gain off slipstreams. You've all got to do it by yourself, with the track to yourself, to set that fast time. And currently Chris Hansen looking very good, 2 minutes 2.59. Charlie Summers has gone onto the front row of the grid as well, 2 minutes 2.73. Here is Matt Hale. Big night for Matt Hale, not just because he's in the other of the Simply Catnip cars. He has been quick, very quick in practice in this car around this circuit. We talk about him as the oval specialist. No more oval events for the rest of this year. But I really do think this could be a big night for Matt Hale's Class 2 challenge, because he's shown that good pace so far this week in preparation for this round.
Yeah, agreed, mate. And I'm going to stretch my point here a little bit, perhaps. But of the non-oval circuits on the calendar,
this is the most oval-like.
Yeah, this has got that mentality of, right, think about your slipstream, think about how you're going to, you know, go alongside this person. You can through the Curva Alboreto that he's coming to now, you could be side by side, and you know, just you know, inches apart and try to carry the speed through onto a straight and maximise that. Absolutely, you can. As Mike Hart goes to the top of the time to 2:02.1 and is immediately beaten by Josh Ladd, who takes the Audi RS3 up to pole. How is Matt Hale going to do?
Yeah, Josh Ladd, who we didn't think was going to be here tonight, but he was able to get some uni work in and complete and get out there racing. Alex Mitchell, as you say, improves as well. Where does Matt Hale go to with this lap time. In fact, no, I think this is his first flying lap. Here's James Montgomery. James has been on great form recently. Was perhaps a little bit unlucky at Bathurst a few weeks ago to not get a stronger result, but the speed has been there, the consistency in the results has been there, and that's why he seems so high up the standings at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a credit to how consistent he's been this season. He's right in there, and no, it's been a cracking campaign from him thus far.
Good evening to Matthew Graham as well, who's got in touch in the chat. Back once again to watch Michael Preston bottle it. If I keep watching, it's bound to happen eventually. Well, Michael Preston currently 10th place in the standings so far. Is this the night where the bottle is going to be dropped? Here is Sam Sanders, who I think I'm right in saying this is almost it must have been around this time last year that Sam joined the championship. So happy Club 100 iRacing birthday to Sam. I think that's his qualifying done, and in 5th place. This is looking like it's going to be a very intriguing grid so far, Howard, for the first race.
It certainly does.
Lad from Summers is the first row at the moment. Mitchell and Hart's row 2. Sanders and Pishke row 3. But we're looking at this lap here from Michael Preston. Car number 19, running in an all-black livery tonight. He's in the top 10 at the moment, which most people would be very happy about. But if you're Michael Preston, you're fighting for that championship, I'd say you want to be on at least that second row.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be an important one here. Just one thing I mentioned of Sam Sanders whilst we were just with him, was the winner last time we were in these cars.
Yep.
Albeit around Knock Hill, which I think we'll agree is a fairly different track.
Just a bit.
But he did take that victory. How is Michael Preston going to fare with this lap time then?
Goes pole! Goes to pole position. Michael Preston pulls it out the bag. 2 minutes, 1.75 seconds, and he beats Josh Ladd by 0.04 of a second. A very important lap time there. Still some lap times going on. Here's Sam Dimolo, second event for Sam Dimolo. First time in the TCRs. Had a bit of a baptism of fire, I think it's fair to say, in the GT3s at Bathurst. So far he has set a 2 minute 4.96. Good amount of curve there from Dimolo. Captain Crunch is on the move out of the second chicane and towards the first of the Lesmos.
As long as it stays Captain Crunch and doesn't become Captain Crunch, that all seems fair to me.
That's very good. That's very good.
Yeah, I'm done now. That's it for the evening. Important laps as well, Andrew. There were a few drivers there who I think had a 1x on their first lap or something, and that's the end of qualifying. So that is not a lap in the book, I want to say there for Dimolo.
No, but a bit of experience nonetheless. So let's get ready for the first race of the evening here at Monza. It's round 10 of the 2022 Club 100 and BUKC iRACIng Championship. Here is your grid. Michael Preston has pole position. Josh Ladd alongside him on the front row. He still needs to update his team bio because he's not in the Yas Heat anymore. That's both of the Williams eSports drivers on the front row. Charlie Summers and Alex Mitchell on row 2. Mike Hart and Sam Sanders on row 3. Steve Hicks and Patrick Pishke on row 4. Chris Hansen and Tom Dix complete the top 10 before it's Tom Edwards and Class 2 pole sitting JJ Aston on row number 6. James Montgomery and Andrew Dawson form up row 7. Craig Brown and Christopher Powell start from row number 8. Murray Adams, big night for him in C2, starts alongside Ben Bennyworth on row 9. Matt Hale and Matthew Whitefoot complete the top 20. James Fremont and Cameron Watson are on row 11. Ian Sumner and Alan Curtis, the birthday boy, are there on row number 12. And then towards the back of the grid, we find Sam Dimolo and Aidan Bliss on row 13. David Whitehouse did not take part in qualifying. We'll start from the back of the field. Well, all ready to go then here at the Cathedral of Speed, Monza. A superb circuit. Is it going to be a superb night for Michael Preston? Is it going to be clean enough to avoid a safety car into turn 1? About 20 seconds to go here, Howard, before we see those lights come on to start this first race. You can feel the tension building here as we get towards the end of the season.
Yeah, it is. It is tension. It's a standing start as well, which we don't always do, of course. So yeah, just that. This could be interesting. Let's strap in and hold tight.
Here we go then, getting ready for the first race of 3. Lights coming on, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. We are go at Monza for round 10 of the 2022 Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. Good start for Michael Preston. Josh Ladd slots in behind straight away. Charlie Summers has had a good start in third as well. Into the Rettifilio for the first time. 3 wide behind. Alex Mitchell in the Mr. Bean car on the inside there for P4. Sam Sanders trying to go around the outside. There's contact between Sanders and Mitchell. Mitchell's in the gravel there. That's where Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen ended up 12 months ago. But good start for Michael Preston there, Howard. That's just what he would have wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. Dream start for him, although he's being challenged here with Josh Ladd alongside. There's contact between them as they're heading towards the second chicane here, and that is a move. Josh Ladd into the lead in the Audi RS3.
Yeah, and it's all going on behind as well, but all in all, it's a clean start for everybody here. But car number 42 in the lead of the race. Looks like Charlie Summers has lost out. The Alitalia car of Steve Hicks is behind. Sam Sanders is off the road between the two Lesmos. Gets back on circuit, but this is what we expected, Howard. It's touring car racing, it's bumper to bumper, and on this particular part of the circuit where it is tight, it is old school, there's not a lot of room here on lap 1.
No, absolutely, Andrew. Look at this down the straight. I'm afraid to say that our birthday boy is towards the back of the field. Something's happened there, but he's not too far off the back. Delighted to say no one's yet. Oh, and look at this, 3 wide out of Ascari, and Sam Sanders is all over the runoff there.
And back on again. It's getting very, very fraught out there. They're doing well to keep it all pointing in the right direction. Josh Ladd leads. Michael Preston second. Chris Hansen's had a great start there in the Simply Catnip G3 Pro car. He's up to 3rd place. Steve Hicks is challenging in there as well as they come through Curva Alboreto for the first time in this race. And look at this. Well, the top two, the two Williams boys are gone, but then it's a proper scrap for 3rd.
Yeah, this is absolutely brilliant stuff. I think we're going to see this all night, mate. It's just the way it's going to be, I think.
Steve Hicks down the inside, trying to go for 3rd place, 3 wide into the Rettifilio. Hansen on the outside there, takes the position. Sam Sanders on the inside now, contact again. Oh, Sanders half spin, gets it together, but he's going to lose out now. Patrick Pichgay is going to be on him. James Montgomery in the pink car there, number 14, is on the scene as well. Through Curva Grande, 3 wide through Curva Grande, and off goes Pichgay into the gravel, into the wall. Will not be happy about that at all. And sadly, you'd say that was inevitable. 3 wide into Curva Grande was never going to work.
Yeah, it was always going to get a little bit spicy, wasn't it? And as you say, 3 wide into Curva Grande. Who's that now off and dropping back?
Tom Dix in the police car, having to take avoiding action.
It was it Andrew? Oh, I'm just trying to find out. It was Tom Edwards, I think, who had a slow moment there out of the Rogers chicane. So yeah, this is what it's about, Andrew. It's a little bit about surviving as they're going nearly 3 wide here on the straight down to Ascari.
Murray Adams hasn't had a great start either, and that's really not a good moment. Into the wall goes Matthew Whitefoot, and I think is involved there as well, the 888 of Ian Sumner. So real problems for a number of drivers there on the approach to the Ascari chicane. Not quite sure what triggered all of that off, but that is a bit of a mess.
Yeah, and we've got drivers resetting to the pits there. So who's been involved in that? Patrick Pichgay's in the pits, James Montgomery in the pits, Craig Brown, Matthew Whitefoot, Ian Sumner and Aidan Bliss, I'm afraid, have all had to tow back to the pits on that one.
That's really not a good moment for Matthew Whitefoot, who's been on great form recently. He's been moving his way up the Class 2 order. No safety car because it's beyond lap number 1 here. Michael Preston looking down the inside. Michael Preston's lost a lot of time here, Howard, because he's back into this group with Chris Hansen and everybody else. Hansen's going to have a lane on the outside of the Rettifilio there as they run towards Curva Grande now. Remember an incident here through here in the Formula 3s a few years ago, and Sam Sanders is going to take advantage of that as well. Bump drafts through, uses Chris Hansen to his own advantage and takes third place.
Oh, and is he going to have second place as well into the Rogers chicane? This has been beautifully read by Sam Sanders there. Also impressive from Chris Hansen there to have such drive going around the outside effectively of the first chicane, but that is beautifully read from Sam Sanders to take himself up into second place. Preston now fancies his chances getting his positions back. He's down the inside of the first Lesbo. Charlie Summers is swarming around as well, but Chris Hansen's able to hold on for now.
Got to say, full credit to those with the balance of performance tonight. Look at this train. Audi, Hyundai, Honda, Audi, all the manufacturers represented there. Further back here, here's your battle involving Andrew Dawson, Chris Powell, Matt Hale and Tom Edwards. This is all over 10th place.
Ascari.
Sorry, Howard. Looking good for Dawson there. There is something to race for, though, for those drivers who have fallen off early on here, because this is a reverse. There's a reverse grid, partial reverse grid in the next race, and it's the top 20 who get reversed. So if you finish 20th, you'll get pole position. At the moment, that's held by Craig Brown. It's off there. That's Preston. Oh, Preston! The bottle has been dropped through Curver Alboreto. He's lost another number of positions. Is this a critical moment in the championship? Championship contender Michael Preston is in trouble.
Able to keep going, was critically able to keep it, or did he just to keep it out the wall, I think, so he's avoided damage. But massive moment for him there. And who's that going slowly?
Murray Adams.
Just got
Murray Adams a lap down.
Correct, yep, so that's just getting out of the way for fellow competitors. Good heads up driving there. But yeah, that's a key moment there for Michael Preston. And now he's got, I wouldn't say all to do, but he's down to 8th place. And he doesn't seem to be comfortable here, Andrew. And I do wonder, obviously we know Michael drives very, very competently, as we've seen many a time in this series. I do just wonder, Andrew, one of the key things when it comes to practicing for an iRacing event is not just to practice the racing line, but it's to practice your alternative lines.
Yes.
For if you're side by side with a fellow competitor. And as we can see, it's important that the drivers have done that on this occasion. And one just wonders, are we seeing the odd mistake because drivers have focused on their outright speed rather than keeping a hold of the car when they're approaching, such as we're just seeing here. If you're on the inside coming in to, as you just saw Steve Hicks on the, sorry, not Steve Hicks, there's several cars on the different lap, but if you're on an alternative line, are you familiar with that? Do you know how to handle the car?
Absolutely. So currently in 20th place now is Craig, but there's actually quite an interesting situation with those who aren't on the lead lap. They're all fighting to get pole position in the second race. Craig Brown we've seen do good things from that position before. Here's Mike Hart. I'm loving the old school Hyundai Alistair McRae.
Yes.
Alistair McRae
Yes.
is who I think when I see this livery, very much liking it on the number 11 tonight.
Yeah, agreed. One thing to bear in mind that JJ Aston, currently leading Class 2 within this race, is in a very close battle in the championship with Craig Brown, who would stand to be much further up the grid with that position. So, interesting dynamic there in the battle. Oh, and there's contact further back.
Christopher Powell was involved, and Tom Edwards is involved as well. It's all getting a little bit messy out there. Andrew Dawson's going to take advantage of that. That's another not a great moment there for Tom Edwards. Loses a number of positions, falls down to 15th.
Well, if you are going to take out another car out there, the Rosers is a bold one, but that is what's happened. So the Blues and Twos might be coming out in a second if this carries on. But look at this. This is the battle for Class 2 honours. JJ Aston is leading an absolute powder keg of a group here, although he's got several seconds in hand. In fact, crucially, 7.5 seconds in hand. If he has a moment, he's slipping right back into this battle.
Cody's doing a good job at the moment. Matt Hale is keeping himself in there as well in 3rd place. And look at Sam Dimolo just at the back of this group as well.
Yep.
By his own admission, still very much learning his craft on iRacing. He's recently subscribed. He's doing a good job here. He's currently in 17th place, and it'll be interesting as well for Dimolo. If he holds that position, he'll be on the 2nd row of the grid for the reverse gridded race 2. And I don't know whether he's started a race that high up on iRacing before. That could be very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hansen here with a good run out of the Curva Alboreto, and will surely have some form of a run here on Charlie Summers.
Down into the first chicane. Retafilio again. Has Hansen got nose? Just holding position for the moment. What are the lap times looking like at the moment? Well, 1.6, 2 minutes 1.6 for Josh Ladd last time around, race leader. The others are quicker, so there is a bit of logic to be played here. That if they can work together, it's like Honda Cadets. If you all work together, you will catch the leader, and they've got some time to do it. They've got to keep doing this to pull this gap that Josh Ladd has at the moment. Sam Sanders leading the train.
Meanwhile, through Curva Grande, the battles continue in the midfield. This is Cameron Watson all over the back of James Fremont.
12 laps for this race, so this will be the halfway point after this one has been completed. But good move there from Cameron Watson.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice, classic move. And, there's, I think there's a police chase going on here. Tom
Civic
Edwards
being chased by a police car. That's never been said before.
No, it hasn't. Down the straight towards Ascari. This is James Fremont now under pressure from Tom Edwards. It's the closest battle on track, although when I say that, you understand that's because they're practically rubbing bumpers. Oh, nice switch back out of the Ascari complex. That might give Edwards a run here, but he's going to be on the outside for the Curva Alboreto, and I'm not entirely convinced that he can use his right wing mirror there, Andrew, to tell him much.
Sam Dimolo flashing the lights behind. He's almost like, you wing mirrors falling off, mate. I don't want that to hit me. I've already replaced a windscreen this year. Second place battle. Charlie Summers to the outside. And it looks like Mike Hart's trying to go around the outside as well. Has he made that work? I think he has. He's got past Chris Hansen. Steve Hicks in there as well. So second through to 6th. The trouble, I think, at the moment for this group, though, Howard, I say that Ladd is being caught. Well, it's kind of not in a way, because Sam Sanders, a 2 minute 1.79 last time around, that was 0.2 slower than Ladd in the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. It's being controlled well at the moment by Ladd. As you say, it's not a major. That's a bit of a moment for Summers there, coming out of the first Lesbo. Will that give an opportunity to Mike Hart? I'm not sure it will. Well, it might do. He's going to close up, but he's, if anything, got more to worry about behind him with Chris Hansen. And Steve Hicks playing himself into this group well, Andrew.
He is.
He's slowly but surely creeping up onto the back of this 4. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to see in this latter half of the race, how he gets on.
Very suitable livery for him tonight, the Alitalia livery. Not sure, might be on one of their planes in a few weeks' time. More on that later. But here, back with the battle between Tom Edwards. Look at the wing mirror. That's a slight glitch there, but Tom Edwards trying to get through the Ascari chicane, gets all crossed up. James Fremont's 072 wasn't particularly straight through there as well. He's going to give the bump to James Fremont because they're trying to catch up to Cameron Watson ahead, and that battle involving the leaders in C2.
Yeah, shake and bake going on here.
But be careful, it's not a shake and bake to an ABC though.
I was going to say, so long as and he's going to tuck underneath here coming out of the Curva Alboreto. Does he have the speed on the straight? He'll have the inside line for turn 1 if it comes to it.
I think there's been a change for second. No, I think it's just my timing on the little bobble.
There's
Yes,
about
it
to
is.
be.
Oh,
There's
there's
about
about
to
to
be.
be indeed. As Charlie Summers tries to go round the outside. This is where Vettel and Alonso had a little bit of a discussion a few years ago. Summers has still got the line down the inside. Steve Hicks is looking for one as well, and into second place. Look at Mike Hart diving down the inside, bumper to bumper, wheel to wheel. Brilliant action here at Monza, but Charlie Summers takes second place.
Yeah, this is brilliant stuff. And Steve Hicks there taking Mike Hart now. Really well read by Hicksy there, and it's brought, look who it's brought Michael Preston right onto the back of this as well, Andrew. So after his moment off, and that is a moment off for Mike Hart, and he's going to be seriously compromised down this straight now, and surely will drop to the back of this.
Mike Hart not happy about that at all, flashing the lights in the Hyundai there. This is a key moment though for Summers and Sanders. Can they break away from this group down the inside now? Looking Preston and Hicks having a bit of a rub into the Ascari chicane. This is all good news for Josh Ladd. There he is, up in the distance, car number 42. Clear in the lead of this race by, is that around, that can't be around 7, I think it is, 7 seconds clear.
It is, yeah. It absolutely is. As is Preston having a think about it into the Alboreto? I don't think he is. This could be interesting down to turn 1 though, these 4 cars, although surely, Andrew, you'd have thought there's going to be some will to work together.
Yeah, they need to get back organised. They've got more firepower in their arsenal at the moment, but it looks like Hicks is going to try and go down the inside of Chris Hansen here. And here goes Michael Preston. If he does that, that's one of the moves of the season. And Mike Hart's trying to do it as well. Michael Preston, 2 round the outside into the Rettifilio. Take a bow. It's not the result that he wanted, but that's a great fight back from the mistake earlier at the Parabolica / Curva Alboreto to take back 4th place.
Yeah, what a move there from Preston to bring himself right back into the game. That was beautiful stuff. And you know what, if they start fighting behind him, he'll be able to focus on getting up onto the back of Summers and Sanders as well.
Indeed. So Josh Ladd leads. The gap is now 6.5 seconds ahead of Charlie Summers. So Charlie Summers has got some pace. The frustration for him there will be that he spent a good chunk of this race behind other drivers. Just a note on the 20th place debate at the moment. I think it's Craig Brown who's currently holding on to that position. We'll confirm that at the end of this race. This is lap number 9 out of 12 for the first race here this evening at Monza.
It's the second group, as it were, of the main runners. Cameron Watson has been steadily working his way up through this field, and he's looking to put a move on Andrew Dawson, which he has duly got done even before they were braking for Ascari. So nice work from Cameron Watson to work himself back up the field. Could
serve Cameron quite well when it comes on to the reverse grid races, because if you've not watched one of those before in this championship, the second race in particular is all about efficiency through the traffic. It's going to be particularly key around a circuit that, even though it's high speed, can be very difficult to overtake around.
The question is here, Andrew, is when are they working together to any extent at this point to get onto the back of Josh Ladd, or do the gloves come off, as it were?
I think the gloves are going to come off soon. Through the Curva Grande they go. Sanders just nudging along, but you can see the gap up to Josh Ladd there. Josh Ladd has got this race well and truly won. Ooh, is that a problem for Sanders? Just a kick up of some dirt there.
It's great. Is that you that Mike Hart is by on Preston? Is that a change?
Yes, no, I think it is. It is. So Mike Hart is up to 4th place now. How about JJ Aston though, mate? Sorry. in 9th place.
Yep.
It's got to be one of his strongest Class 2 runs this season.
I agree. He's managed to find a gap for himself, and he's holding it. You know, we've seen how frenetic it's getting in the background between some of these Class 2 runners. He's managing to just keep himself out of the drama.
Here's a key fight. It's down the order, but it's for pole position in race number 2 at the moment. Matthew Whitefoot holds it. Alan Curtis is trying to get it. The difference being, of course, that if you finish in 21st, you start 21st. So it really is key for Alan Curtis to get by. The trouble is, though, the leader is right behind them. Yeah, absolutely. And he gets out of the way. I had to be clear, Andrew. I think it still sits with Craig Brown provisionally, who's a few seconds up the road. Okay, apologies.
But it does mean that their battle gets neutralised briefly. As look at this for second place, down into the first chicane, and Preston looking for a move on Hart once again. Yeah, not alongside though. So Mike Hart able to take the line. Well, will there be a chance into the second chicane? Here's the battle with Matt Hale involved and the number 27 of Tom Dix, Cameron Watson. What a great progress from Cameron Watson, side by side through the chicane. Tom Dix defends it well, holds on to the position, that position being 10th. Oh, nice move from Dawson though to capitalise, and is by Matt Hale. Read that well, everyone just got bolted up a little bit. That's a Class 2 on Class 2 move as well. The two different classes defined by different levels of experience for the drivers. An iRating in there as well, so the Class 1s, those with the red number boards on your timing tower on the left hand side are the Class 1s, the Premier drivers. The blue ones being the Class 2s, our Clubman drivers and rookie drivers. Here on board with Michael Preston. That's not him having some bad eyesight, wanting to see those Castrol logos on the back of Mike Hart's car. That's him trying to work with the number 11 to push back up to Sam Sanders and Charlie Summers if they can. Yeah, but they're running out of time here, Andrew. This is the penultimate. Sorry, I should say Josh Ladd is just beginning the penultimate lap, isn't he? So they've still got a couple more laps there, and that is Michael Preston down the inside of Mike Hart, but Mike Hart's going to be able to tuck back underneath. It's going to be side-by-side drag race down towards turn number 1. White flag out then. Josh Ladd looking to get close to another victory. This is a big move though, 2 big moves going on there as Sam Sanders is pulling out of the slipstream, trying to go around the outside of Charlie Summers. Has he got the move? Deep on the brakes there from Summers. Can he get it stopped? Preston trying to go around the outside of Hart again, gives a little bit of a nudge and a rub once again, and look at Steve Hicks coming on the scene. He's now on the outside of Mike Hart. There may be a lane on the inside for Chris Hansen at this rate as well. Great racing on the last lap here at Monza in race number 1. All key points for this round, of course. We've not got many rounds after this event here tonight. Here's your battle for second place. Charlie Summers still leading it. Michael Preston holding on now to 4th place ahead of Hart and Hicks and Hansen. It's the 3 H's behind him at the moment. Next few corners you've got to think are very important though for Michael in this situation. Howard, he's got to get a gap to make sure he doesn't get slipstreamed over the line. Yeah, agreed. It's absolutely crucial that they get good runs here onto this straight. I think, I'm not going to call it actually. I was going to say second place is looking less likely to produce a move, but that is very much a relative statement as these drivers look like they're going to try and do their best ever impression of, was it the 1971 race here that was the closest in F1 history? They're one car short of that, I think, as they come onto the back straight. They are indeed, and look at the white lining from Summers as well. Josh Ladd's going to win the first race of the evening, though. A very good run indeed. Trying to go around the outside there was Sam Sanders, but Josh Ladd takes the first race of the heat tonight. It's going to be second place to
Charlie Summers. Third place to Sam Sanders over the line. Fourth place is going to go to Michael Preston. Fifth to Mike Hart. Sixth, Steve Hicks. Let the chaos commence, ladies and gentlemen. It's all right. They were just virtual cars. They'll get repaired. What a result this is. JJ Aston home in ninth place, top C2 runner in the first race of the evening. And good number of C2s coming across the line here. Matt Hale gets second in C2. Third for Andrew Dawson. James Fremont and Tom Edwards coming over the line there. Who's going to be in that 20th spot? It's going to be Craig Brown.
Here. Yep. He's still
just
a way
on the
round.
lead lap.
Indeed, he was just about, so he'll be one of the last to cross the line, but he will absolutely be in pole position for that second race.
He will indeed, and Patrick Pischke is going to be alongside him on the front row. Good chance for Patrick that to take a race victory. If you enjoyed that first race and you're new around here and you haven't done so already, please do give that subscribe button a press. Lots coming up on DDMM and with the other channels that we work with over the next few weeks. This weekend we'll have commentary on both Saturday and Sunday over on the Alpha Live YouTube channel. Rotax Max Challenge Switzerland on Saturday with coverage of the final round of their season from Vollen in Switzerland, and then a little bit close to home on Sunday we'll have coverage of the cadets and the juniors at Clay Pigeon. Good first race that, Howard. Looking forward to race number 2.
Oh yeah, absolutely. My only dispute is whether or not we should have had a break in the schedule at this point for the sake of your and my voices, but no, that was a flavour of what's to come, and it was very entertaining. This one, we're going to up the ante slightly and have the top 20 reversed, which I'm sure will not up the drama at all. It'll be fine into turn 1. We'll be fine, I'm sure. I can think of nothing that could go wrong. But great opportunity this. Craig Brown on pole position. Sam Dimolo, you observed, possibly the highest he started, up there in third place, Andrew. And Patrick Pischke, with an incident in that first race, he's the highest place of your Class 1 runners. So this could be a good one for him as well.
He is indeed. So just getting ready at the moment. This is Heat 2, but away we go then for the second race of the evening. Craig Brown cuts across the front. Look at James Fremont in the start he's got in the Castrol Honda 072. Tom Edwards has got a good start as well in the Rosas car into the Retafilio for the first time here in this one. Are they all going to make it through? I think one of the Simply Catnip cars is just holding back a little bit there. They're all being quite well behaved. No, they're not. There goes Mike Hart off the road, and round goes Tom Dix as well. Forced round there, I think, by Charlie Summers' front bumper.
Matt Hale as well seems to be have been involved.
Yeah.
So I think that's 3 cars involved in that, Andrew. Well, no, 4 cars, because David Whitehouse is down the order as well. So I think that's 4 cars there.
Yep.
But I'm not sure that's going to be enough for a yellow to be thrown.
No, I think the race will continue. Good start for those towards the front. They've managed to keep it clean as up the inside there. Was that Sam Sanders going for a move on JJ Aston? Yes, I think it was. Aidan Bliss is also running in this one at the moment. Did not have a good first race of the evening. Look out for him in the bright green Cardiff University car, I should say. So I'm in BUKC mode already.
It's a common slip up there for us. It's into the Ascari chicane.
Castrol versus
Mr.
Peen! Steve Hicks off in the wall. Rear end into the wall, trying to find some traction there in the gravel trap. Will not be happy about that at all. Well, big moment for Steve Hicks there. He'll get back out on circuit, but that's going to be one particularly wounded. Audi as off into the wall as well. There was another car there, and to Curva Alboreto, couldn't quite make out who it was.
Yeah, it was one of the, I think it's James Fremont.
Yeah,
and Christopher Powell as well.
I think at that point it is going to be a safety car.
Yeah, indeed, Andrew. I think there's just been one or two. There's
too
been
many incidents.
One too many incidents across the first lap. So
neutralise the race.
Indeed.
Murray Adams has gone off on the safety car and hit Sam Dimolo. That's a very strange incident there. And nearly another incident behind involving James Fremont and Mike Hart. And can James Fremont get going again? Or is the car too damaged? He is going to get going again. That's not a good moment at all. But we are now under safety car. The safety car will come out and pick the drivers up for lap number 3. So we'll do at least 2 laps behind safety car here. So the order as it stands then. Lee Brown still leads.
I was going to say we barely looked at him in the first lap, but he held station well, and is leading this one.
Yeah, and the safety car will pick him up on the pit straight, of course. Tom Edwards there in second place. See the live timing there. Alex Mitchell in third, fourth for Andrew Dawson, fifth for Michael Preston. This really has closed up. Been a good opening for those who started towards the back of the top 20. There goes Christopher Powell back out onto circuit.
Is that car driving straight? Yes, I think it is.
Yes. Because it's have a faster pair on it. There's Steve Hicks stuck in pit lane. It's going again now. So just running through the order then. Lap 3 here. Craig Brown leading. Tom Edwards second. Alex Mitchell third as we're under safety car. Fourth for Andrew Dawson. Fifth, Michael Preston. Sixth for Josh Ladd. JJ Aston getting some good points again at the moment in 7th place. 8th for Chris Hansen. Just see him there. 9th place for Ben Bennyworth. 10th for Cameron Watson. 11th Matthew Whitefoot. But a number of incidents there on the first lap, bringing out the safety car. Hope you enjoyed the coverage here on DDMM. Remaining rounds of the season to go. Some really, really exciting venues and car combinations to take us to the end of the year. Slightly changed schedule as well. Formula 3s will be out next time on October 12th at the Red Bull Ring. Interlagos holds our final SP80 Endurance Challenge of the year. And the GT3s visit Interlagos. That'll be on the 16th of November. And the season finale at Suzuka. A proper circuit for a season finale, if you ask me. To be the sprint format and the MX-5s. So waiting to see if the safety car is in this lap. I don't know if I can see from your perspective, Howard, whether the lights are off on the safety car. And if it is, we'll be getting ready to go quite soon. Andrew Dawson at the front of this queue going quite slow. In fact, no, it's Alex Mitchell. No, it's not. It's Craig Brown. Of course it's Craig Brown. It's now the lapped cars are being allowed to go by, I think. Round they will go. Steve Hicks running a little bit wide, so I don't think we'll be having the safety car in this lap, if I'm right in saying, Howard.
Correct, yeah.
So now the safety car has completed one lap. It should now be ready to come into pit lane. So one more lap behind safety car. Yes, the lights have now gone out on the safety car. Those lap cards will race round to join the back of the queue, and we'll be able to get this one going again. And effectively, Howard, an 8-lap sprint to the end for race number 2. Getting in that top 10 will be crucial to make sure it's towards the front of the order for race number 3.
Yeah, absolutely. And bear in mind, we still reverse the top 20, right? So, like, there's still a lot of people who, based on their performance in the first race, would think that they should be further up the order. So, this is going to be quite an interesting 8 laps. This one. So, should be good to see.
Craig Brown has won reverse grid races before. Remember Spa last year in the GT3s, but that wasn't a safety car affected race. That was one very much bolted off the front in the early stages and took the race victory with relative ease on that occasion. Based on the safety car picking up, I think, at the front of the order. Trying to get us through this lap fairly quickly. You can see the field filing through. On board here with Alex Mitchell. I don't think we've talked about enough his livery tonight. It's quite a special one. If you've got that at your end as well.
Yeah, it's quite something, isn't it? I did see it on the crib sheet for this round. I assumed it would be like a lime green mini tribute.
Yes.
But it is literally Mr. B. And I'm not sure I'd prepared myself for that. But no, it's quite a livery.
I mean, Rowan Atkinson, an accomplished racing driver in his own right, but mostly in historics. Raced Goodwood Revival a couple of times. That wasn't that many weekends ago. Getting ready to get racing again. The two cars that are off the lead lap, I don't think they're going to catch the train. At least they're in the race. The iRacing Rozzers out to try and take the lead of this race. Now the tyre warming will really begin. Can Craig Brown get this run to the lights correct? If you do it too soon, it's almost like a rolling start. You can pick up a penalty if you overtake the safety car too soon. So he's got to time this right, as Craig Brown. And those behind have got to be aware of that as well. I remember, this is going back a few years now, Jenson Button in his first Italian Grand Prix back in the year 2000 got this very stage of the race wrong as Michael Schumacher backed the field up and went off to the right of your screens and out of a potential points position that day in the Williams. Craig Brown, has he got his right? Has he put the hammer down? I think he has. And he's caught Tom Edwards out there. Tom Edwards is going to be under attack from Alex Mitchell. Where is the safety car? It's in the pits. It's safe. That was really well called by Craig Brown. Back to racing then here at Monza. Lap 5 out of 12. Alex Mitchell, will he go for the move into the Rettifilio here on the restart on Tom Edwards? He's got a good run behind as well. Andrew Dawson defending from Michael Preston and another driver as well. Down the inside goes Mitchell, too deep though, and Edwards cuts back through. It's Andrew Dawson who was involved behind.
Well, there's a certain meme that I can think that would be appropriate for when Ronan Atkinson attended an Indian Grand Prix a few years ago, but don't have it to play out right now, as he's going to try and go around the outside of Curva Grande, heading towards the Roger chicane. This is going to be Noah's Ark 2x2 here, as they break into that. Josh Ladd down the inside of Andrew Dawson, but otherwise it stays as they were.
Craig Brown doing at the moment similar to what he did in that race at Spa last year. He's bolted off the front of the field. He's got a 2.4 second lead.
Yeah, this is brilliant stuff from Craig Brown at the moment. Really, really good stuff as they continue to try and sort themselves out further, well, behind him and further down. Look at all this as they're coming out of the Lesbos.
Aidan
James
Bliss,
Montgomery.
Aidan Bliss
Yep.
right in the middle of it as well, in the Rattler car. Trying to follow James Montgomery through. This is for 12th place, I believe. And
Side by side for Montgomery.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting moment. Bit of a shoulder charge there from Alex Mitchell. Tom Edwards back on circuit, but he has lost position.
Yeah, absolutely. People just like hitting into that police car this evening.
You need to put some bull bars on it.
Yeah, and Josh Ladd's read that well as well. Andrew takes himself up into 4th place now as they go through the Curva Alboreto. He's going to try and tuck underneath here.
Big lap, the next one, I feel, Howard, for the race leader. And the race leader, Craig Brown, comes over the line. It's 2.7 seconds. But what happens here with... Oh, contact! That's a very, very big moment. Alex Mitchell, I can understand why he's on the lights there. I think that was a bit of a naughty squeeze from Josh Ladd, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, contact there between Jesus and Mr. Bean on the way down towards the first chicane.
Oh, that's something I never thought we'd say. But there we go. Craig Brown still leads 2.7 seconds. This is a good chance. It's a really good chance, because if the drivers behind keep fighting, he's similar to what we saw with Josh Ladd in the first race. He's just going to be able to hold off the front here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. This could be really interesting as they're still battling away. Look at this coming down into the Rogers chicane. Charlie Summers having another strong showing here, Andrew, trying to make his way back up through the field.
Yeah, he's fighting hard in there. 14 minutes of this race gone already. Ben Bennyworth we haven't talked a lot about tonight.
We haven't, but I think he's had a relatively strong one, hasn't he? He had quite a quiet race. He finished, I want to say, a few seconds ahead of JJ Aston in that previous race. We didn't see much of him, but he's had a strong start to his evening.
It's good to see him back on form. He had a bit of a wobble in the middle of the season. Not a happy time at Indianapolis, I remember. This is more like the Ben Bennyworth that we saw in this championship earlier in the year.
Oh, look at this, side by side. Further down the order, Sam Dimolo side by side with Murray Adams, and that's a moment. Big hit into the wall there for the Hyundai Elantra of Sam Dimolo.
And that is a Captain Crunch straight into the tyres. And the front right is completely done on that car. And oh, is that sorry, no, I thought that was a problem for Craig Brown then, but it's a similarly liveried car. I think it's David Whitehouse. Yeah. Thank you, David, for that one. Yeah, that was a moment for Whitehouse towards the front of the order. Preston and Ladd, for the moment at least. Rivalry becomes teammates, friendship. Well, I don't know what you'd want to describe it at the moment, because they're trying to hunt Craig Brown down. 7/10 pulled out of the lead on that last lap. The gap down to 2 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a case of the enemy of my enemy is my friend for now. Further down the order, birthday boy, Alan Curtis in the wheel tracks of David Whitehouse. Highest runner in Class 2 at the moment. No, it's not. Because do you know what? No, it's not, because there's a Class 2 runner leading it. That's the one that threw me there. As was that Matt Hale in Sumner there?
Yep.
I think.
Indeed.
So tidy little move there in the Simply Catnip car. Look at this, how they've closed in on Craig Brown, Andrew. The teamwork has made the dream work for Preston and Ladd.
I just wonder if there's been a mistake as well. So that's a lot of time lost in the course of around half a lap. Craig Brown defends well to the inside. But he's going to have a job here to keep ahead as they run down towards the former corner formerly known as the Parabolica, and Josh Ladd's trying to make it 3 wide. He's going to try and hold it down the inside of Michael Preston here. Big move in this race and this evening. Tom Edwards coming in as well. Look at this, 3 wide into Curvo Alboreto. Craig Brown holds on to the lead. Preston to the outside. There's a train of 3 on the inside now with Ladd, Edwards, Mitchell, Craig Brown holding on to the lead at the moment here. He's going to wide line it. Josh Ladd is going to take it down to the pit wall. They're 3 wide again as they go over start finish to start lap number 8. Surely Josh Ladd's going to have it this time.
It's
down the inside, 4
wide.
wide into the Retophilia. What is going on here to the outside? Are they going to do what the 2 championship leaders in Formula 1 did last year? No! They're all going to still get round there. This is incredible racing.
This is absolutely brilliant stuff. Craig Brown, yes, he's lost the lead. He does not want to give this one up, though, without a fight, though. And what a fight it is. Brilliant, brilliant stuff between these 5 drivers. And this is an attempt at 1971's Grand Prix here so far. This is fantastic stuff. Tom Edwards picks the inside line there, but tucks back in behind the Mr. Bean car of Alex Mitchell.
Oh.
That's a slow exit off of the Roger chicane there by Craig Brown. And that's going to put him under pressure on the outside into the Lesmos from Alex Mitchell.
Mitchell's still there.
Racing room there. Yeah, good racing room being given to Mitchell. But Brown is going to try and carry the pace, and there's a bump there. And that puts Mitchell out wide, and there's contact, and Craig Brown's in the wall.
And Michael Preston round as well. Oh, this is going to cause chaos coming out of Lesmo number 2. There's more cars. JJ Hastings pipped through that. Summons is off. There's more chaos as Andrew Dawson's involved in an incident. And Patrick Pisquet. It has all gone wrong out of Lesmo 2. Josh Ladd is away at the front of the field. Aidan Bliss is now involved in an incident as they go under the bridge of the old oval. It is chaos here at Monza.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are some disappointments. So Craig Brown's recovered to the pits. Patrick Pisquet's in the pits. Cameron Watson and Michael Preston, Andrew, all in the pits. As Sam Dimolo is across the gravel.
Sam Dimolo who got his car repaired. He's got his car repaired.
Again, and he's towed to the pits. Oh my goodness me, that was a massive change. And Andrew, this is not that was on lap number 9 or lap number 8, I should say. That is not going to be a safety car, I'm afraid, for those drivers impacted.
No, and that is a number of drivers out, and critically one of the championship contenders, arguably 2 of the championship contenders, because mathematically Alex Mitchell is still in this, are involved. This is really going to shake it up here.
Yeah, so to be clear, Alex Mitchell and Chris Hansen not towing to the pits, but going into the pits. That's changed the complexion. And the real beneficiary, I have to say there, Andrew, is this man right here, JJ Easton, who steered his way through the chaos and finds himself up in 3rd place.
Sam Sanders as well is up into 2nd now. James Montgomery, maybe a bit of payback from the bad luck that he had a few weeks ago at Bathurst, is now up to 4th place. And will fancy his chances to get past JJ Easton here. JJ Easton, you've just got to think, bring it home. Bring it home in this situation. And he's on for a Class 2 victory here tonight. Because looking at the drivers in Class 2 further behind, you know, you've got Matthew Whiteford there, David Whitehouse up in the top 10 as well. These are all drivers who suffered in race number 1.
I think Aidan Bliss has got problems, Andrew. He's moving quite slowly here and seems to be dropping down the order. Well, has he managed to get back up to pace now? I think he might be all right, but that Rattler car has been rattled a bit.
It has indeed. Steve Hicks, that's the irony with it. Steve Hicks and Christopher Powell, who we talked about at the end of the safety cars, they're not going to be with a pack, they're not going to be able to catch up. They have caught up. They're not in positions they would want to write home about, 17th and 18th at the moment, but you never know. The way this race has gone, could be back up in the top 10 by the end of this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been quite a race as Aidan Bliss continues to convince me, Andrew, that he's got some damage, because that was a very odd line coming out of Ascari there, although he seems to have the straight line pace of sorts. But odd car behaviour for me from that number 6, 7, 8.
We'll see what he does on this run through and towards the pit lane, side by side, Bennyworth and Summers. This is over 5th place.
That was an interesting move to the inside there, but was just about far enough ahead. I was worried that was going to swipe across there, but that's all worked okay there for Bennyworth. And further back, Whitefoot and Mike Hart battling away. I think that's Mike Hart getting by on Whitefoot.
Yep.
And up into 7th place. So actually, did Mike... Yeah, Mike Hart wasn't involved in that incident, was he? Or what?
Not in that one. He had the
No.
He was involved in one of the several incidents on lap number 1 which brought the safety car out. So he's been able to work his way back up through the order. JJ Hastings still doing a grand job there in 3rd place. I have to remind myself where JJ is in the points so far this season.
I want to say he's just outside the top 10.
In the overall standings.
In overall, yeah.
He's in 23rd place. Having
okay.
dropped out of and not been present in
yeah.
2 rounds so far this season. Did have a 2nd place in Class 2 round number 2. He's on to beat that here tonight. Maybe even put himself in the mix in what is a very open Class 2 category. It's a fiercely fought for spot. And of course, the winner of Class 2 at the end of the year does get a free entry into a 2023 Club 100 endurance race. It's a prize worth winning if you're one of the less experienced drivers. All these drivers race or have raced in Club 100 and or the BUKC past and present. And if you're one of those drivers as well, looking at this and want to get involved, search Club 100 iRacing on Facebook and Discord. Get involved. Side by side though, Whitefoot and Hart. Great fight back this from Mike Hart. This is going to be another position. Him on the inside for the 2nd part. Oh, look at that. Lovely from David Whitehouse in the 777.
Yeah, lovely stuff from Whitehouse. He's just going to hang it around the outside of Curva Grande. Although Whitefoot's not got too bad a drive there. It is going to be side by side into the braking zone for the 2nd chicane. As behind them, Matt Hale and Tom Dix do battle. And Whitefoot's still keeping himself in this fight there.
Oh, lovely switch back there. David Whitehouse using all of that experience that he's had in sprint racing over the years. He's got through. He's through and into 2nd place in Class 2, P8 overall. Yeah,
class stuff. Like that a lot. And P2 in Class 2. Solid stuff.
1 more lap to go then after this one. Josh Ladd in control of this race by 4.6 seconds. Sam Sanders P2. James Montgomery has got past JJ Easton, now is into 3rd place. And look at this. Montgomery trying to find a way to get in the slipstream and stay in the slipstream of Sam Sanders. I think they both
Montgomery.
know
So I was going to say, one of the most entertaining drivers to watch this season for me, Montgomery. Yes. So it'd be interesting to see how he does in this last lap.
And no doubt will be streaming on the Twitch channel tonight as well. Very entertaining stuff. Look at this. Trying to find a way through here is Chris Hadson. Trying to go down the inside of Alex Mitchell. This is for 18th place. And what will be 18th spot on the grid as well. Remember, it's the top 10 that are reversed for the final race of the evening, race number 3.
3 wide again here between Whitefoot, Whitehouse and Tom Dix. And Whitehouse is still leading that one, and there's opportunity here for Matt Hale as well in that 333 Simply Catnip car, who's going to have a good drive off the corner as well.
Matt Hale showing that form that we talked about from practice earlier on this week. Had his own problems in the early stages of this race, but has now got a chance of finishing 2nd in class, and what would be a big haul of points. for his championship bid in Class 2. Still fighting between Whitefoot and Whitehouse.
Well read by Hale. He's going to have the move there on Dix. And look out for Steve Hicks as well, arriving on the scene here. Andrew going to try and have a look into the Lesmos, but it's not going to be on for him there.
Good racing room left by Whitefoot on the outside there. This is good news for David Whitehouse. Look, he's got away. He just needs to get through Ascari Chicane and Curva Alboreto, and he's got a great result here. Tom Dix was just holding in front of Steve Hicks there. Dix and Hicks at the moment on the outside of the top 10. They need to get up 2 positions if you're Steve Hicks to get on the front row for contact. That's going to be a big one. Into the wall goes Dix and Hicks. Through goes Ian Sumner into 11th place. And what has been a very attritional race, Josh Ladd is going to take his 2nd race victory of the evening. Sam Sanders finishes P2. 3rd for James Montgomery. Brilliant result again for JJ Aston in 4th. 5th is going to be Ben Bennyworth. 6th for Charlie Summers. These are all the drivers who kept themselves out of trouble. What a result. One of the best results of the year for David Whitehouse. Finishes in 7th, 2nd in class, 3rd in class and 8th overall for Matthew Whitefoot. More good points here tonight at Monza.
Back to the line.
And look at this on the line. Who's going to take it on the line? Who's going to have pole position? It's Matt Hale. Matt Hale has it. That means I've missed somebody out in the readout. Mike Hart. Mike Hart's missed in the readout there. So it's Ladd from Sanders, Montgomery, Aston, Bennyworth, Summers, Hart, Whitehouse, Whitefoot, and Matt Hale. That's your top 10. Reverse that. That's your 1 through 10 for the grid in race number 3, which will be along shortly. More drivers coming over the line.
Yeah, Michael Preston in 22nd place, Andrew. How about that for a result in the championship?
Yeah, this when we get to the end of November could be one of the moments.
I say 22nd. I say 22nd place. Cameron Watson would like to take one more if he can get good drive out of Curva Alboreto, but I don't think the outside's going to work for him.
Yeah, and they're going to come over the line. Not the kind of results that either Preston or Watson would have been looking for there. And that will bring to a conclusion race number 2 here at Monza this evening. David Whitehouse delighted with that result in the chat. 2nd in class and missed the start. Even though he missed the start, F for Steve Hicks. Very much so with that incident right at the end through the Ascari chicane. Sum that one up for me, Howard, if you can, in 10 words or less.
Oh, it's easy. I can't. No. Oh, blimey. It was a race of attrition. We knew that was a possibility in this style of racing. It's not. I want to try and give fairness to these drivers. We haven't seen any major incidents through turn 1. I know there was a bit there towards the back, but what we're seeing here is I think generally some high standards of racing. It's just that side by side, nose to tail, lap after lap, you always know that there's a risk. Unfortunately, that sort of Damocles struck for some of our drivers in that one. Having said that, some really good standout drives there. I know Craig Brown will be disappointed, but I thought he drove very, very gallantly, very well. It was a very staunch defence that he put up there. Controlled the restart pretty well as well. So I think he can take some good stuff there. JJ Aston, Andrew, I think is having a standout round on this one. Good drive for David Whitehouse, Matthew Whitefoot. Good fights going on there, and a good drive as well, I think, from Mike Hart there. So some really good standout drives there for me, Andrew. Disappointment, yes, for some of the drivers out there, but they've still got the feature to try and make amends.
A few comments in the chat. Craig Brown says, ruined it for myself by getting a slow down and letting the caps pack up. So it wasn't it was a mistake in a way, but the slowdowns around here can be particularly nasty, a bit like Le Mans in that regard, with it being a high-speed circuit. A few things to come up and tell you about as well. to be following here on the channel. October, mate, it's going to be a busy one.
Yeah,
starting with this weekend.
Indeed, absolutely. It's a bit of a crazy one, isn't it? Really, going into October, but we love it. So that's all good. But yeah, absolutely. With the Rotax Max Challenge Switzerland on the Saturday, and then the Junior and Cadet Club 100s down at Clay Pigeon. You can follow all of that by following our partners over at Alpha Live and keeping up with all the action there. So that is that. Then the following weekend we've got more Club 100 action as well, both for ourselves in a racing capacity, and indeed we have the pleasure once again of commentating on the Club 100 Senior Sprints Championships on the Sunday. That too will be streamed on Alpha Live. Where are we after that? We're back with this, aren't we?
We are.
That's then happening as well. Yeah, we will be back with more of this fantastic Club 100 iRacing action. Is it Red Bull Ring?
Red Bull Ring, Formula 3s.
Yep. So that takes us to the midpoint of October.
Yep. I'll take over from there. I'll then pop over.
Yeah, you take over
there.
there. I was going to say, I just wanted to double check that was that week. Yes,
yeah.
It is, isn't it? You'll be heading over there.
Yeah, so Rock Cup Super Final. The race days being the Thursday, Friday and Saturday, the week commencing the 17th of October. Streaming details will follow for that one. I'll say that's not an Alpha Live one. So, did well, yes. But Rock Cup Super Final, really looking forward to that. Great event at Lenato, South Garda Karting. Not too far from Monza, of course. I'll probably give Monza a distant way from the motorways, taking the taxi from the airport. But yeah, that will take us through to then the final weekend of October. Then we're back in Club 100 Senior Sprints action again. That time will be at Ella Park, the weekend of the 29th and 30th of October, endurance racing on the 29th for ourselves, which you can follow over on the Instagram account at Double Dash MM, and then more Alpha Live streamed Double Dash Motorsport Media commentated racing on the Sunday in the sprints at Ella Park in late October. Wet one, perhaps?
I was going to say, I'm sure that'll all be fine. It's been a long time since it's been a long time since I was over at Ella Park. I know you were there a bit more recently, babe, but it's been a long time, it feels, since we streamed from there. So it'd be good to bring that to people. But hopefully, well, I say hopefully it'll be dry. The wet and the wind can always give us some interesting stuff, so we will take it as it comes for us there at Ella Park. But looking forward to that one as well to round out what is a packed October month.
It is indeed. It's the 5-minute break has been completed. That's how much stuff that we've got coming up. We've been able to talk about it all the way through the break there. It's all right, mate. We'll just plug on through. 12 more laps to go. Gridding up though for the final race of the evening. 12 laps again. Top 10 from the last race reversed. And if the first two races are anything to go by, this could be very interesting indeed. Yeah,
I was going to say, you say we'll soldier on through, mate. I'll hope the voice keeps up with it, because it has been quite a round so far for this action, but really looking forward to this one. So the top 10 inverted from that second race.
Packed grandstands here at Monza. Matt Hale, big race this, huge race for Matt Hale. And the story in Class 2. It's been a surprise in some ways that he's been able to hold himself up in that position in these road events. But this is a great opportunity for him to gain some more points and get a best result that he's ever had on a road course. Yeah, let's see how they get on then. The lights are out and away we go for the final race of the evening. And I'm not sure that's a great start from pole, Andrew, because that is Charlie Summers immediately to the head of the field. Mike Hart had a good start as well, went to the right-hand side. He's already up to second place, a clear second place into the first chicane. There's chaos towards the back. I think Chris Hansen is involved. in one of the Simply Catnip cars. Tom Dix is going for a Liuzzi attempt. Chris Hansen's just taking to the outside there. It's a little bit scrappy, but well, Tom Dix is already in pit lane and out of this one in terms of any strong running, but no safety cars, just one car involved in that one. Good start though for Charlie Summers. Mike Hart trying to attack though, has been on good form tonight. Was unlucky at the start in race number 2. Because so much happened in that one, he's still got a good result. Look at this through the Roger.
Yeah, Ben Bennyworth battling away, and he's got himself through, and that's David Whitehouse into the wall.
Yeah, and that's how many are involved in there? James Montgomery is involved in there. I think it's just 2 cars at the moment that have been taken out in that one, and James Montgomery, that is not a good moment for James Montgomery, towing to the pits. That's not going to be a good result here in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it carries on for now, Andrew. Only 3 cars, as I think it's Sam Dimolo going wide out of the second Lesmo. Side by side between JJ Aston and Sam Sanders, I can see here into the Ascari chicane. I think Matt Hale will be kicking himself for that start though, Andrew. Yeah. Clearly didn't get off the line well. But not out of it by any stretch, so he can still recover a good result from here. But Matthew Whitefoot is by him for the bragging rights in Class 2 for the moment.
It's the star of Class 2 tonight who's coming through. JJ Aston is on the back of this group. Mike Hart will lead at the end of lap number 1. Recently bumped into him at Caffeine and Machine just up the road about a week and a half ago.
In person, I hope.
Not in the car park. I'll be banned if we did that, but he was in good spirits. He's looking forward to tonight. And here he is, fighting now alongside Charlie Summers. Summers is going to be down the inside for the initial part of the Rettifilio. In fact, yes, he's going to have the position before they've even turned right into the chicane. Good drive there for Hart off the corner as Alex Mitchell goes down the inside for a position. James Fremont's through past Christopher Powell there for 10th place. Back with the leaders on the bumper cam of Charlie Salmons. Now to the rear bumper cam, and look at that, you couldn't get any closer to the front of Mike Hart's Hyundai. Ben Bennyworth up to 3rd place now, past Matthew Whitefoot and Matt Hale as down the inside. That's going to be contact between Alan Curtis and the police. No, it's not the police, it's Tom Edwards.
Indeed. No, everyone's drawn to that car tonight, I swear. It's people using but mind you, it's quite a bright livery, I suppose.
Yes.
But yes, they all carry on as they were, as Christopher Powell is side by side with James Fremont. This is a battle in class here, and Alex Mitchell is trying to get in there as well.
It's a moment there where I thought the front axle of the number 53 was going to squeeze between 2 cars that didn't know he was there. That could have been a recipe for disaster. Side by side between Powell and Fremont, and good driving by Christopher Powell. I'm going to say I think he's in the contendership for most improved driver of the year is Christopher Powell. Lots of good overtakes, and that was another one to add to the book.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been having an absolutely stellar season as Steve Hicks is looking to poke his nose down the inside there, and that's round for James Fremont.
Yeah, that's going to be that's a difficult
that's
stop
a horrible
to recover.
recovery. Yeah,
blind round the entry. Good use of the relative box there by James Fremont to just wait a moment, but I think he's got tracking out on the rear left, so may have to come into the pits for repairs. Here's the fight for 3rd, and look at this, Matthew Whitefoot fighting back. Class 2 driver on Class 1, and our Class 2 winner from Le Mans has gained a position. On board with Matt Hale now.
I say Sam Sanders, Matt Hale side by side here as they head towards the Roger chicane, and Josh Ladd is through as well. He's judged that well to get by on Matt Hale. So, plenty of changes going on here at the moment, and also to the chicane again. This is Murray Adams trying down the inside of Alan Curtis. The rear steps out on him. He's going to collect a bit of gravel, but he's going to keep that position, Andrew. That was nicely done.
I think that was a bit of oversteer and net code at the same time with Alan Curtis, but he held on to it well. Michael Preston trying to recover back through.
Brown trying to make amends for a disappointing race too, but yeah, sorry, go.
I sense from Michael Preston that he is in damage limitation mode now. He knows that he needs to make every move very cleanly as Powell and Hicks go side by side through the Ascari chicane.
Yeah, and Hicks is going to keep his foot in it, and that's going to be a beautiful move if he's able to go through, because that was inch perfect through there. He's got Tom Edwards with him as well, as ahead of them. That looks like Ian Sumner and Alex Mitchell exchanging positions as well. And it's going to be Alex Mitchell who stays in front for now. That was nicely read by Hicksy, and Tom Edwards is behind Chris Powell as well.
Yeah, ooh, but Hicksy runs wide there. Gets in that little gully on driver's left. Spits him out wide for a moment.
Lead battle.
Lead battle indeed. Summers holding to the inside. Mike Hart trying to fight back here. Good scrap this, well defended by Charlie Summers there. Side by side once again. This is Whitefoot and Bennyworth. Bennyworth's going to have the drive on the outside. Slightly wider exit out of the Rettifilio. Here comes Matt Hale as well. Can he slip up the inside? No, he can't. We'll have to just slot in behind in the toe of the purple and yellow liveried 104. Into the Roger chicane. Here on lap number 4. 8 laps to go after this one. Really can't call as well, mate. But well, I mean, apart from the round winner, I think that's looking pretty certain at the moment. It's going to be a very topsy-turvy event standing once we get to the end of this race, and it's still not over, of course. Yeah,
agreed. This is going to be a really interesting one to see how it all comes out in the wash. Yeah, as you say, round winner might be the only thing that we've got confidence on.
What do you think's going through the mind of Mike Hart at the moment, mate? Because these two have got a 4-second lead over the two drivers behind. Those two drivers are Josh Ladd and Sam Sanders. We know how quick they are. We know how competitive they are. What do you do in this situation? Do you stick or twist there in P2?
If I get the run, I take it. But I think unless that happens, I mean, we saw them getting quite close into the first chicane. Their pace in clean air is good enough to hold the gap to Josh Ladd. So I think it's just a case of, you know, if the opportunity presents itself, yes, otherwise stick and work together, at least for the time being. We're only, you know, just past the third race distance. So for now, I'd say stick as it is and try and bridge that gap in sort of classic sprint race fashion.
2-minute 2.03 for Summers, 2-minute 2.33 for Hart. Ladd and Sanders both in the 201s, though, the high 201s. Matthew Whitefoot's current leader in fact, what's happened to JJ Aston? JJ Aston is still there in third place in C2. It's very close now. Whitefoot from Hale, from Aston. Here's Murray Adams, who's not had his best of evenings. Still scrapping away there. Class 2 contender. Team backmarker driver, does a lot of BPEC racing. Alex Mitchell in 8th place. JJ Aston behind. No change of position for Aston in class. That's still P3.
I sort of have to apologise we're jumping around the battle so much, but it's for a good reason. There's lots of them.
Yes.
All over the place. Which is fantastic to see. But yeah, this is at the moment topping off what's been a fantastic evening of racing. And, still, our top two are doing enough to hold off that sort of second duo of Ladd and Sanders. And then we've got this battle going on in the middle. Oh, issue for JJ Aston. It's the issue for JJ Aston. He's at the side of the road.
JJ Aston has come to a stop. That's on the run to the Ascari chicane. What has happened here? You can see he's in 4th gear. He's under the bridge of the old circuit. Has he had an equipment failure? Has he had? I reckon that's a wheel problem. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I reckon that is a wheel reset. If he lost gears, but he would have had pedals to come, bring the car to a stop. But whatever has happened there for JJ Aston, what cruel luck. Was on for a win in Class 2 after 2 class victories earlier on in the 2 heats that started off tonight. But something has gone wrong for the 015, and he's now down in, I think, around 19th, 21st position.
This is Alan Curtis and Andrew Dawson battling through first chicane, but yeah, that's gutting for JJ Aston. Still has the 2 class wins, so he'll position well enough. Well, he'll position well. It probably won't feel like enough, given how he's been going. But yeah, that's disappointment there for Aston.
Yes, it is indeed. Coming towards the halfway point of this race. Charlie Summers still leading it from Mike Hart. 2/10 is the gap, and usefully for them, they've got a fast back marker between them and the chasing pack in the form of James Montgomery.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll maybe be a bit disappointed in Montgomery. It was just quite. It wasn't quite the type of first lap that we saw in race number 2. He'd have been, well, having been involved in the incident, he'd have been hoping perhaps for a safety car on that one. But as it is, he's got to comfort himself by keeping good pace with those around him.
Bump draft indeed.
Yeah.
That's what the inside of a Hyundai TCR looks like.
Yeah. Good modelling for everyone at iRacing. Well done. Side by side once again between Bennyworth and Whitefoot, and Matt Hale's in there as well. This has just been running and running this battle all race long. I don't think it shows any signs of abating.
I'm just wondering here, is Matt Hale now on points on for the Class 2 victory here today? Because he's been at the sharp end of Class 2 in every single race so far.
I'd just off the top of my head, I'd say that Whitefoot might be sitting just a little bit prettier, but I wouldn't be held to that. He might well be in the pound seats, as you say, Andrew.
See this the chasing mob behind as well. Christopher Powell and Michael Preston in there also. Oh, I think there was a problem though off the corner for Powell. Might have been a slowdown if he took too much curb. Seen that once already tonight for Craig Brown. Lost him some 2 seconds. It's been a strange night for Michael Preston. They're in 11th place at the moment, where he would have expected to be. In terms of the championship as well, 12 points overall was the difference between Sam Sanders and Michael Preston. Whilst Michael Preston had won the last round, he had to fight hard for it. That gap's going to extend out again. It's going to be a good night as long as he can get to the end of this race for Sam Sanders.
Yeah, absolutely. He's had a good one. In some ways, there has been. Well, I say there's been luck involved. I'm not sure you can call getting through that incident in race 2 lucky. I think there's skill involved in of itself there. Let's say the fortunes have smiled on him somewhat, but he's taken those opportunities and converted them. So fair play. As once again, now with added Alex Mitchell, this becomes a 4-car battle into the first turn here. And there's contact, and there's a sideways moment there for Bennyworth, but they all sort of hold each other up. And now Steve Hicks smells the blood in the water. He's going to go for a pass on the grass/gravel, and he's by on Alex Mitchell. Tom Edwards is buying into it as well as they come through Curva Grande. It's still side by side though now between Bennyworth and Hale as they head into the La Rodria chicane. Who's going to be bravest on the brakes here? The Simply Catnip car is surely going to come through ahead as Steve Hicks is through as well. And Mr. Bean's off. Alex Mitchell into the wall.
Yeah, Mr. Bean's, well, I was about to say Mr. Bean's face looks a little bit skew with there, but it was already looking like that. And the number 53 carries on its way. No, that's not quite up to full pace, I think. That may have some damage and may need to have a trip to pit lane. It's been a frustrating evening for Alex Mitchell here at Monza.
That's an episode we never had. Good race, Mr. Bean. That would have been interesting. Still, this battle keeps going though, undeterred by the chaos that happened earlier in the lap. But Matt Hale has played this one well, Andrew, and has got himself to the head of this battle for 5th. There's now a couple of cars between himself and next in class, which is Matthew Whitefoot in the yellow and fuchsia car. I'm going to go with fuchsia.
Okay.
As Steve Hicks tries to go down the inside of Ben Bennyworth.
Yeah, looking for a move there. Someone's going to have to get the advantage of the slipstream off the back of Matt Hale. It's going to be Hicks. Bennyworth all out on his own there on driver's left.
Yeah, it's purple really. I've got the contrast too high. Side by side into turn 1.
I was going to say.
It's still Hicks and Hale. I say still Hicks and Hale. This is actually the first time we've seen that particular combination side by side into turn 1. And that is Steve Hicks through and up into 5th place, Andrew. And that is playing the long game from being, yes, he was given the wave by, but he was well off the back of the safety car trade in that second race. And he has worked himself up through the field steadily there to get himself now up into 5th place in race number 3.
As indeed. And that was very well orchestrated between the championship organisers, Hicks and Hale, to you know, not trade any paint off the sponsored car here this evening.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. They've kept it nice and neat as Andrew Dawson battles away with Murray Adams there intersected behind them. Alan Curtis and Craig Brown are doing battle as well. This thing just battles all the way down the field.
Big thanks to our supporters and sponsors for this year's Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. Club 100 themselves, of course. As Matt Hale down the inside of Ben Bennyworth into the Ascari chicane.
Well, I think he's defending, Andrew. He certainly was ahead before.
Christopher Powell's brought himself nicely into this race. Howard, there he is. That very notable combination of red, blue and black. Very much like his race livery, his race suit as well. It's been another good night for him. Oh, there's some smoke ahead.
Yep.
Not quite sure who that was off. We're on board with Christopher Powell now. It's Matthew Whitefoot just ahead of us. So I'm going to change at the front of the order on lap 10. Summers from Hart, Ladd from Sanders.
Side by side again into turn 1. This time joining Matt Hale in the Noah's Ark formation, it's Ben Bennyworth. I always feel like I should do a lottery calling now. That's the 3rd time we've seen that one this evening. That particular combination. That's
good switch to the right-hand side there from Ben Bennyworth. Is he going to be brave on the brakes here? He may have the advantage. No, he's just going to hold back.
Yeah, Hale's been strong into that chicane throughout, and it's going to take quite something to put a move on him into that chicane.
It's just the hilarious sight of a Mr. Bean car clattering the curves in the background through the Roger. Back with our leaders, Charlie Summers under the bridge into Ascari. What is that gap looking like? It's around 3.5 to 4 seconds, so the pace is good between these two.
Yeah, that gap. Sorry, I thought you were about to comment on the gap between them. I think it's a cigarette paper, mate.
Yeah.
As it has been all race long. But I just wonder, Andrew, we've got 2 laps left here. And as you say, that gap is 3.5 seconds. You can see the second pairing behind them, Josh Ladd and Sam Sanders, who's just been, you know, keeping themselves in touch with these two. So now this is the decision time, Andrew. The question that you and I were asking some 6 or 7 laps ago of how do you play it if you're Mike Hart. The question is, do you change it up here as we've got 2 laps to go?
Well, we saw Charlie Summers doing some hard defending earlier on in race number 2. Taking it down to the white lines. I think you stick on this lap and then you make it all for the last lap, because you don't want to be out-dragged for that final pass down the pit straight. So it is sensible from Mike Hart at the moment for me.
Yep, agreed.
Bennyworth and Hale again. This time Bennyworth should have it. Oh, it's going to be a bit of push to the outside.
Yeah, it's gone pear-shaped, and it's going to allow Michael Preston to try and have a run here through Curva Grande. Tom Edwards as well is right behind them there in the police car livery. I was lost for words as they came into turn 1, because it was exciting when they did it the first time. I'm worried it's getting blasé going side by side to turn 1. But that's not the case. Oh, look at that from Matt Hale. Round the outside there. I said he was strong into that chicane, and he just proved that as Christopher Powell is forced to go over the rumble strips on the inside there. But that was beautifully judged there by Matt Hale. And after a very compromised exit, so it seemed, from the Rettifilio chicane, he really made that count by the time they got to Rogia.
I'm calling it now. There was a bit of pack racing in there. It was a braking zone where you have to roll the speed in. It's like short course oval racing. He's in his elements here, is Matt Hale. And this could be a very important race for his Class 2 championship this year. Tom Edwards getting onto the rear of Ben Bennyworth and settling the car a little bit. Here's the crucial moment, though, for this race. Race number 3. It's not for the round win, but it is for a race victory. Charlie Summers, Mike Hart, they've been like this for the last 10 laps. Is Mike Hart going to make a move here? There is a back marker ahead. It is David Whitehouse. Is he going to pull over to one side, or is he just going to keep on it through the Rettifilio? Can Mike Hart find a way through to the inside? Summers is going to defend. If Mike Hart needs to go around the outside, he's got to be alongside a lot more than that. He's going to just pull out of it here. There is another opportunity now. It's all about the exit out of the Rettifilio. On the lights is Charlie Summers trying to navigate away past David Whitehouse. David Whitehouse is going to show to the outside. That kind of helps Summers in a way. It tightens up the circuit for Mike Hart behind. Mike Hart's not going to have an opportunity here into the Roger. Not many opportunities, Howard, for Mike Hart to get through from here on in.
Yeah, the main 2 opportunities after this are going to be something very bold into Ascari, or more likely as Josh Ladd clatters over the curb there, because the gloves have definitely come off between him and Sam Sanders.
Slow
Sanders
down.
Is through.
Slow down.
Slow down for Josh Ladd.
It's got to be.
Sanders is going to come through into 3rd place. It's going to either be something bold into Ascari or through the Curva Alboreto, Andrew, I think, for the race lead here. But I'd say that it's just with Charlie Summers at this precise moment in time. Mike Hart's going to have a good Ascari here to set himself up down the back straight.
Fair play to Josh Ladd there, pulling over to serve that slowdown. That is how it's done. Good to see. But we're coming into the last couple of corners of this race, the 3rd race and final race of the evening here at Monza for round 10 of the Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. Mike Hart, can he find the run out of the Parabolica, out of Curva Alboreto to find a way through? He's looking to the inside, deep on the brakes. The rear axle of Charlie Summers is out. He's squirming all over the place. On the power now to the finish line. Who's going to take race victory? It looks like it's going to be Charlie Summers. A great win for Charlie Summers, just ahead of Mike Hart. Doesn't matter after the finish line. The celebrations of this championship will begin. 3rd place for Sam Sanders, 4th for Josh Ladd. By my calculations, that is a round win and a return to form for Josh Ladd after a difficult Bathurst. 5th for Hicks. Look at this battle over the line for 6th. Who's going to take it in Class 2? It's going to be Whitefoot. Matthew Whitefoot takes the win in the race in Class 2. We'll calculate the points for who's taken the round in Class 2. Matt Hale 2nd, Christopher Powell 3rd in that class. But what a race. There's much crunching I can hear going on on the run down to the first chicane. Got a feel for JJ Aston, though, what we think had a technical problem with his rig setup, which took him out of the fight for the class win in Class 2 in this race, and possibly in the round as well. We'll wait and see. Across the line he comes in 20th place ahead of Aidan Bliss. Oh dear, what's going on here? Ian Sumner has taken out the codes.
This is beyond the line, I just want to make that clear.
It's hit. No, Ian. That's the ACI Rally Monza line. Not tonight. What have we seen tonight, mate? It's been absolutely bonkers.
What have we seen tonight? We have seen, by and large, mate, just some good, solid, fun racing. We knew that this would be shoulder-to-shoulder racing. We knew that it would be nose-to-tail. It would be about who's boldest on the brakes, who's practiced those alternative lines, and it's exactly what we got. I think, for me, that battle in that one between, your Matt Whitefoot, Matt Hale, Ben Bennyworth, Alex Mitchell towards the end, Christopher Powell. That battle, for me, that was awesome fun, and I hope they enjoyed that. And I think there's a few drivers out there who will have, I'm confident there's a lot of drivers out there who will have enjoyed, the closeness of that racing tonight. Yes, a few thrills and spills. Yes, a few tears at times, but I think everybody has had their chance to have some good, solid, close racing action, and that's exactly what we hope for when we get touring cars. So, yeah, chaos, but a lot of fun, and yeah, we nearly had it in race 3. We have not had any Liuzzi moments into turn number 1. No one's just been pinball wizarded up through the Curva Grande. So I think on the whole the standard's been pretty good. The odd moment here and there, but it all seems to on the whole being good-natured, which is great to see.
Whilst we're waiting for the provisional results to come in, big thanks to our championship sponsors, CLUB100, and the provision of the prizes for the best Class 1 and Class 2 drivers of the year. G3 Pro, who provide promotional packs for our race winners as well across the course of the year. Many prizes thanks to them. Simply Catnip, who is sponsoring the iRacing credit prizes for quite a lot of the drivers. Top 10 and the classes get some form of monetary reward, so plenty of reason for drivers to keep cracking on and getting the scores and turning up to each round and getting those points on the board. Here is your result for heat number 1. Josh Ladd took the win from Charlie Summers ahead of Sam Sanders. And a reminder as well, if you weren't with us earlier, lots and lots of commentary and racing action coming up either here on the DDMM YouTube channel or others. This weekend, Saturday, Alpha Live, Rotax Max Challenge Switzerland, the 6th and final round of the championship. We'll have commentary of that from Vollen in Switzerland. The following day will be at Clay Pigeon for the next round of the cadets and juniors in Club 100, and we could see championships decided on Sunday, so do tune in for that. It really, really is going to be a cracker. I mean, we've done BUKC finals, haven't we, mate, at Clay Pigeon. It's one of those circuits that's very good to have a championship decider at, so definitely tune in for that. The following weekend will be in double duty action at Wilton Mill for more Club 100 endurance on the Saturday. Apologies if we get in your way, but we'll be back in the commentary box on Sunday for the sprints. Next round of this championship is then the Wednesday after that. We'll be at the Red Bull Ring virtually in the Formula 3 cars on October 12th for the 11th championship of this, the 2022 Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. We've then got a weekend off of sorts. It'll be more one just to kind of catch our breath before Italy calls, not just here at Monza tonight, but the Rock Cup Super Final 2022 will be at Lonato. South Garda Karting, our hosts once again. Very much looking forward to that. Myself and Daniele Laspina taking you through all the action there. The Saturday, the finals will be live streamed. And then, just to wrap up the month, we've got another double header of Club 100 senior action. We'll be getting in more people's way at Ella Park on the Saturday in the Endurance, and then more Alpha Live streamed sprints action on the Sunday. And just to wrap out that rundown of events, we'll mention the final 2 rounds of this championship as well, both in November. The first on the 16th of November, where we'll be at Interlagos in the GT3s, and then 2 weeks later to finish the season on the 30th of November at Suzuka in the Mazda MX-5s. If any of that takes your fancy, do make sure that you've followed across your social media networks at Double Dash MM and given us a subscribe here on the DDMM YouTube channel. Was that enough padding? No,
Sure.
it wasn't.
It wasn't enough padding.
Come on, Hicksy, get on with it. Apologies, my Outlook account settings are out of date. Let's get rid of that off the screen. Just trying to catch up with some of the comments. Hicksy's apologising to everyone. Understandable.
Yes. Yeah. I'm hearing it's very close for Class 2.
Oh, okay.
I think they're getting the abacus out.
Ah, excellent.
So this could be interesting.
We need to get it warmed up. As I say, we've got championship deciders at Volon this weekend on Saturday, and then potentially for yourself. And John Ratcliffe, I say we should mention that John Ratcliffe is on hand to ably assist. And ably assist he will on Sunday at Play Pigeon.
I've raided the DDMM store cupboard, mate. But because I did it, you get the abacus, I get the slide rule.
Okay.
So, not quite sure if... I'm hoping I'm not going to have to use logarithmic scales to work out the championship, but you never know.
You never know. We've had to do so before at Clay Pigeon. We should mention as well, if you're of a BUKC interest, do keep your ears open. There will be stuff coming on that soon. Discussions to be had. And we are. Oh, no, there we go. Finally, we've got a result in. Just as I was about to pad the channel even more. I'll go from 20th upwards. James Montgomery, 20th tonight. These are all overall positions. 19th for Ian Sumner. 18th for Alan Curtis. 17th for James Fremont. 16th for Andrew Dawson. Remember, all of these are combined results across the 3 races tonight to give us a round order. 15th place for Tom Edwards. 14th for Cameron Watson. 13th for Chris Hansen. And we go to a tie on points for the 3rd spot in C2. 12th place, 4th in C2, Christopher Powell. So Matthew Whitefoot is on the podium in C2 again in 11th place. Both of them tied on 261 points. 10th place in the top 10 was Alex Mitchell on 262. 9th for Steve Hicks on 266, but given that he's not got a lot of drop scores to play with, that's a bit of a hit for his championship bid. We have a tie as well for the C2 win. 7th and 8th places overall, 268 points each. But it's JJ Aston who takes the C2 win on countback over Matt Hale. Well done to JJ Aston. That is his first C2 victory in a round this season. 6th place to Michael Preston. Not the kind of round that he would have wanted tonight. And hopefully for him that will be a drop score come the end of the year. 5th, really good results for Ben Pennyworth tonight. Fully deserved top 5 there overall and in C1. 4th for Mike Hart. And then we're on to our podium where there's another tie. This time for 2nd and 3rd on 292 points. But it's Charlie Summers. As a result of that last race, taking the race victory, he takes 2nd place ahead of Sam Sanders. So it's Sam Sanders 3rd, Charlie Summers 2nd, and as I think we kind of knew already, virtue of 2 race victories and the 4th place here tonight, your winner for round 10 is Josh Ladd.
Yeah, it's well done to Josh Ladd there for a well-earned victory there. That win in Class 2 for JJ Aston, Andrew, coming courtesy of that 4th place in the 2nd race of the event. And it's that managed to pull him through in spite of the disappointment in that 3rd race. So brilliant stuff for him, getting his first win in Class 2 of the season, as you say. Matt Hale, I'm sure, will be slightly, so close to the winning Class 2 tonight, but it's a testament to just how close the racing has been this evening, as to how many points ties there were or there are on that result page. That is something special.
It is indeed. Unfortunately, that is all we've got time for here tonight at DDMM Towers. I do hope you've enjoyed the stream. If you've not done so already, do give us a subscribe, click that like button and the notification bell, all that YouTubey goodness. We'll be next on the air on a channel on Saturday, as we say, for Alpha Live's coverage of Rotax Max Challenge Switzerland. Do tune in for that. We're across your social media networks at Double Dash MM on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Thank you very much for joining us here tonight at Monza for round 10 of the Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. We will be back on this channel for the next round of this championship on the 12th of October at the Red Bull Ring in the Formula 3s. That should be fantastic. And we very much hope that you will join us for that as well. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you for joining us here on the DDMM YouTube channel. Take good care and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.